What's up guys, and welcome back to Electrix Moto. Today we are going to talk about a very simple solution to a very common problem that we see on these light E-motos. Give you guys some information and help you make a decision on what works best for your bike, no matter what type of forks or brakes that you're running. Problem first is what you'll see a lot of times is, especially when you put aftermarket forks, this is our Shop 2.0. It's got the Tech front forks on it, and the Tech front forks don't come with anything to route this brake line. So what you're gonna see commonly is people putting a zip tie on here, and that kind of just holds their brake line from getting pulled or drug on any type of sticks, branches, whatever it may be. Problem with the zip tie method is what you're going to have over time as your suspension is compressing and releasing, you're jumping, you're hitting bumps, you're hitting rocks, whatever it is, this brake line is just continuously moving up and down in this zip tie. So what's ultimately going to happen here is you're going to have wear on the rubber coating outside of the steel braided cable on the inside, and eventually this rubber coating is going to wear away. So this is not the best way to do things. It's not even remotely good. We put this on here to show you guys an example, and quite honestly, you'll see a lot of people tuck their brake lines behind their number plate, and that's not a good solution either. You want this to be able to flow free. You don't want this to be drug on anything. You don't want it bound up behind this number plate. You just want this thing out where it's supposed to be. Another problem with your zip tie method is that there will be times when your suspension compresses that your brake line goes down, and you can see that this suspension is at full droop, so it is completely extended and you have this brake line just hanging out here. But the problem obviously is if you drive by a stick or a branch or a tree and it catches, the best case scenario is the tree or the branch just breaks, nothing happens whatsoever. Worst case scenario is it pulls you down with it and you wreck. Second to worst case scenario is that you just blow through this brake line, pull it out, rip it, damage it. All your brake fluid runs out, and now you have to replace a $30 or $40 brake line depending upon which brakes that you have. So now that we know the problem, let's talk about the solution. So first part of the solution is get rid of this zip tie, and then you never really have to worry about it again. Second part of the solution is this Electrix Moto branded cable router. So this can be for your front brake line, and it goes right over your forks and it sits right there. It's up above your fender, stays out of the way of all the things that might get in the way. And the nice part is all you have to do is insert a zip tie on either end and clamp this down. Now, we designed this specifically to fit with any E-moto fork. It does not matter if you have factory Sur-Ron forks, you have factory Talaria forks, or you even have the aftermarket Cirrus F43s on your Ultra B or your SR. This was built and made to expand and contract depending upon the size of your forks, the diameter of your fork tubes. So what you can do is grab your line, pop it on there, and obviously it wants to pull to that side, and once you put your zip tie on there, this just keeps it in place. So it allows your brake cable to float freely. It doesn't get hung up on anything. It's not constantly rubbing on the same exact area over and over again as your suspension compresses and releases. It has space to float in there. This simple product is going to save you probably a significant amount in the future, just because you don't have to replace your brake line, you don't have to worry about things getting bound up, and you no longer are relying on a zip tie method that may have worked in the past but just isn't the best system or solution for this problem. Now, this is a problem that's not unique to electric dirt bikes. Motocross people have figured this out a long time ago. Most of the number plates have something very similar looking to this, and it routes the brake cable on the inside of the number plate, but off to the side. I don't know how well you can see that, but it kind of sits in there like this, so your brake line's not getting pulled on or pushed around. So this solution just allows you to pop that on, insert your zip tie, and now you have a free and floating front brake line, so you don't have to worry about it getting caught on anything. And more importantly, it just looks much better than having a zip tie compressing your brake line to a front fork. All right, while we're here, I'll show you the install of this bad boy. Definitely not because you need it, but we're here, so why not do it? You have a hole routed through here where your zip tie fits directly through. So pretty simply, every fork will be the exact same process. Throw your cable tie through, push it all the way around. Now, the length of your cable tie does matter, but that's okay because we got the ones in the pack. So when you order it, you will receive a zip tie. You do not have to worry about sourcing one, and you tighten it down to your desired tension. I like to keep it pretty tight because I don't want a lot of movement here. I want this thing to be pretty solid. So I'll grab some pliers here and I'll pull on it, get those last few clicks out of it, and then get your cutters, cut that boy off, and you are good to go. So now, anything that happens in here, this thing is just floating around. It's not restricted. If it gets pulled, it goes back to its original location. And this is just a better setup. It's easier. For a small amount of money, you can save yourself a lot of problems. If you ever change your forks, that's fine too. You can just put this on your other fork, cut it off and put it on the next fork. So it can work across all different models, all different bikes, all different forks. It's generally, or 100%, I should say, universal. So I want to show you a couple of other bikes that have these that come from the factory and why I would change to this over keeping those and why we do change to this every time we get a new bike. You'll see what I mean here in a second. All right, so this is the coveted E-Ride Pro 2.0. The 3.0 has a much bigger brake line because they use .4 fluid over mineral oil. I will have to say that the guys in the assembly shop did not do what they were supposed to do, so I'm gonna have to fix this, but this should not be behind your number plate. It should be routed outside so it can float freely. Either way, what you see here is this hole is a very small diameter. It's very narrow. So just like before using the cable tie method, there's not a lot of space in here for this to float up and down. So what you're getting is you're getting wear on one side or the other of your brake line, and eventually that's going to cause you problems. So eliminating this and getting this off the fork. The next problem is this is specific to the fork size. It can't be used across multiple forks, can't be used across multiple bikes unless it shares a very similar or the exact same diameter of the fork. So what you're gonna get is just uneven wear on this, and it's not going to be a good long-term solution. If you don't like replacing brake lines or having issues in the future, you can get rid of this immediately, purchase the cable routing system that we have linked in the description, and that will solve a lot of problems for you, save you any headaches in the future, because this kind of stuff always happens when you're not expecting it. It's never something you see coming. It just happens and then you're forced to deal with it. Generally, that's while you're on a ride, not while you're sitting in the garage. Last example I want to show you is the E-Ride SR. We have more room in here. So this is a better solution. And the outside coating, the rubber coating here, this is one big piece of plastic made to protect this line from any damage in here. So if you have an SR, you could probably get away with this, obviously, because E-Ride puts this massive piece of rubber along the outside, but you could not have to do that, and you could take this big piece of plastic off if you just had something that's more frictionless and doesn't cause as many issues, you know, in the long term with any type of rubbing. So like I said, for every single bike that you want, this will work. It's definitely something that's easy to do, worth the $15 investment to save yourself a brake line or any type of drama in the future with ripping this thing out while you're going down a trail. All right, so that's it. That's a very simple solution to a very, very common problem that you can find on our website. It's a universal cable router. It's probably one of the easiest things we've ever had to develop, but it makes a lot of sense and it solves issues for people in the future. If you guys are into this kind of stuff and you like new products that help the bikes perform better, stuff that probably should already be here, but that's taken a long time to get here, leave a comment, let us know what you think is something necessary for these mid-size E-motos that could just make them better, more frictionless, easier to use, less problems in the future. It seems like a lot of the stuff from the motocross market in the dirt bike world doesn't make a full transition, and that's probably because the Chinese brands that build these bikes don't have the same concept of motocross or motorcycles or dirt bikes that we do. So no fault of theirs. It's just something where there's opportunity for us to pick up the slack and to make this better for you guys and to make products that solve problems, make your day a little bit better, less work on your bike when it's not needed. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll see you guys on the next one.